The first thing I felt was pain. It wasn't the sharp kind that makes you scream. It was heavy, like my whole body had been wrapped in concrete. My eyes struggled to open against the bright hospital lights. A steady beep echoed through the room. I tried to move my arm, but tubes and wires reminded me that I couldn't. Then I noticed someone sitting beside my bed. She looked exhausted. Her hair, once perfectly styled every time I'd seen her, was messy. Her eyes were swollen from crying. It took me a second to recognize her. "Linda?" I whispered. She looked up so quickly that the chair nearly tipped over. "Oh, thank God," she cried, reaching for my hand. "Linda, my ex-boyfriend Ethan's mother, the last person I expected to see after waking up." "What happened?" I asked. "You were in a car accident," she said softly. "You've been unconscious for 4 days." 4 days. I tried to remember. Rain, headlights, a loud crash, then nothing. "Where's my mom?" Linda's face changed. That tiny pause told me everything. "I'm sorry," she whispered. My heart started pounding. No, don't say it." "She's alive," Linda quickly said. I burst into tears before she even finished. "But she has a long recovery ahead." Relief flooded through me so hard, I almost passed out again. After a few minutes, I noticed Linda was still holding my hand. She hadn't let go. "Why are you here?" I finally asked. She looked away. "I owed you the truth." Those words made my stomach tighten. "What truth?" She took a deep breath. "I've hidden something from you for almost 7 years. 7 years. Exactly how long it had been since Ethan broke my heart. Back then I was 23. We had planned our future together. We talked about marriage, children, a little house with a yellow porch. Then one afternoon, Ethan showed up at my apartment. He wouldn't look me in the eyes. "I'm leaving." "Leaving where?" "You." I laughed because I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. He said he didn't love me anymore. He packed the few things he had at my place and walked away without looking back. 2 months later I saw pictures online. He was engaged to someone else. I never recovered completely. I buried myself in work, moved to another city, started over, or at least I tried. Now his mother was sitting beside my hospital bed, looking like she carried every ounce of my pain. "I need you to listen," Linda whispered. "I'm listening." "Ethan didn't leave because he stopped loving you." I stared at her. "He begged me not to tell you." "The doctors found something." I frowned. "What?" "A rare heart condition." My breathing slowed. "He collapsed one morning while you were at work." She continued carefully. "The doctors told him he might need a transplant someday." I couldn't speak. He believed he was going to die. Eggshell. He didn't want you wasting your life waiting for someone who might never have a future. My head spun. "You're lying." "I wish I were." "No." He looked happy. He got engaged. Linda closed her eyes. "That engagement wasn't real." "What?" "It was arranged." Nothing made sense anymore. He married the daughter of a business partner because her family agreed to pay for experimental treatments overseas. I felt sick. No. He sacrificed everything. I shook my head again and again. He never told me. He made me promise. Anger exploded inside me. That wasn't his decision to make. I know. I deserve the truth. I know. You let me hate him. She started crying harder. I know. Silence filled the room. I looked out the window. Rain tapped gently against the glass, just like the day he left. Alive. The word barely reached me, but things haven't been easy. I didn't answer. My heart was breaking all over again. The next few days were filled with physical therapy, broken ribs, a fractured leg, endless pain. Linda visited every afternoon. Sometimes we talked. Sometimes we just sat quietly. One evening, I finally asked the question that haunted me. "Does he know I'm here?" She nodded. "He came every night." I blinked. "What?" "You were asleep." "He came?" "He sat exactly where I'm sitting now." I couldn't believe it. "He talked to you. What did he say?" Linda smiled through tears. "He apologized. Every single night. He told you he never stopped loving you." I couldn't breathe. "He held your hand until sunrise." "Why didn't he stay?" "He didn't think you'd want to see him." Part of me wanted to scream. Another part wanted to see him immediately. The doctor silently discharged me 2 weeks later. I expected to go home. Instead, Linda asked me one question. Will you come with me? Where? There's someone waiting. My heart already knew. The drive was silent. We stopped outside a small lake. It looked familiar. This was where Ethan first kissed me. I stepped out carefully using my crutches. Someone stood near the water. His back faced me. He looked thinner, like life had stolen years from him. He turned around. For a moment, nobody moved. His eyes filled with tears. You're okay. I laughed and cried at the same time. You idiot, he smiled. I've missed hearing you call me that. I slowly walked toward him. Every step hurt. Not nearly as much as the last 7 years. You left me. I know. You lied. I know. I hated you. I know. And I still loved you. He broke completely. So did I. We stood there crying like two strangers who had once known each other better than anyone else. I thought I was protecting you, he whispered. You broke me. I know. I would have stayed. I couldn't let you. You didn't let me choose. I've regretted that every day. We sat by the lake for hours. He told me everything. The surgeries, the treatments, the fake marriage that ended 2 years later after they realized love couldn't be negotiated. The loneliness, the guilt. I told him about my sleepless nights, my failed relationships, how I compared every person to him. At one point I laughed. You know something funny? What? When I couldn't sleep, I used to listen to stories on Echo of Tales because they reminded me that even impossible endings sometimes find another beginning. He smiled. Maybe ours isn't over either. Months passed. Recovery was slow. Mine, his. Life didn't magically become perfect. Love isn't like that. Trust had to be rebuilt. Some days I was angry. Some days he blamed himself. But every difficult conversation brought us closer than silence ever had. One afternoon he invited me to another doctor's appointment. The cardiologist smiled before speaking. The transplant was successful. I looked at Ethan. His eyes met mine. For the first time in years, the doctor continued, your future looks very bright. Outside the hospital, we both cried again. Not because we were sad, because hope had finally become real. A year later, we returned to the same lake. This time there was no fear, no lies, no impossible promises, just honesty. He pulled a small box from his pocket. I already lost you once, because I thought love meant sacrificing happiness. I smiled through tears. I'm done making that mistake. He knelt carefully. Will you give us another chance? Not because the past was perfect, but because we finally learned how to face the future together. Yes. It was the easiest answer I'd ever given. Linda cried louder than anyone. She hugged both of us so tightly we could barely breathe. She whispered, thank you for giving my son another chance. I smiled. We're giving each other one. Looking back now, I sometimes think about the accident that nearly ended my life. Strangely, it became the moment that gave me my life back. If I hadn't opened my eyes to see Linda sitting beside that hospital bed, I might have spent the rest of my life believing I had been abandoned. Instead, I discovered that silence can wound deeper than betrayal, and that love built on sacrifice without honesty often destroys the very people it's trying to protect. Today, Ethan and I never leave important words unsaid. We don't assume. We don't hide pain. We don't make decisions for each other out of fear. Because the greatest act of love isn't protecting someone from the truth. It's trusting them enough to face that truth together. And if my story teaches anything, it's this. Life can change in a single heartbeat, but so can hope. Sometimes the person you thought broke your heart was carrying a broken one of their own. The truth may arrive years late, wrapped in tears and regret. But when it finally does, it has the power to heal wounds that time alone never could.